After playing football at the University of Notre Dame and then in the NFL for 17 years, I just have to ask you, what was that like when everything came to an end? Did you ever wrestle with those feelings of, man, what else can I do? What else am I good at? Because you have the rest of your life now beyond sport. When you're not an athlete and you're not football player Craig, like, who are you and how did you kind of figure that part out?
And I think that's where a lot of guys and girls who end their sport, that's where they struggle is what is my purpose? But for me,
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Now What podcast. I am your host, Sierra Stout, and today I am joined by Craig Hentrich. Craig, thank you so much for joining me today. After playing football at the University of Notre Dame and then in the NFL for 17 years, I just have to ask you, what was that like when everything came to an end? I know that I definitely was jarred when my sport came to an end and I didn't play it as nearly as long as you did. So I just want to know what that was like for you and just bring us back to that time.
well, it was a great time for me and also a tough time at the same time because it's all I had known since really high school was football. I played football 4 years in college and then, like you said, 17 years in the pros, and I didn't really know anything else at the time. So I think what made it easier for me is the fact that I went out on my own terms. I knew when I wanted to go out. I knew my body was telling me to get out. And since I was able to finish my contract out and actually go out on my own terms, I think it made it a lot easier for me.
No, it's encouraging because I feel like a lot of people don't go out on their own terms, and then you're left with the whiplash feeling of what the heck just happened. That was definitely something that I went through, and I woke up the next morning, and my first question was, "Now what?" I think during the time, I wouldn't say that my identity was in my sport. I would have been like, "Oh, it's in the Lord," all of these things. But as soon as it was over, I didn't I didn't know what my purpose was. I didn't know what else I was good at. I didn't know what I was supposed to do to like fill my days, right? And so as you transitioned, did you ever wrestle with those feelings of, man, what else can I do? What else am I good at? Cuz you have the rest of your life now beyond sports. And so it's like when you're not an athlete and you're not football player Craig, like who are you and how did you kind of figure that part out?
And I think that's where a lot of guys and girls who end their sport, that's where they struggle is what is my purpose? But for me, I'm really not wired that way. It's almost for me, it's what's next, and I really didn't have to struggle with anything because there's so many things I wanted to do. I'd been in football for so long, and in our football contracts, there's stipulations that you can't do a lot of different things. Hang gliding, rock climbing, work with power tools, that kind of thing, because we need our hands and we need our
Yeah.
bodies. And so when it was done, I'd been told for so long of what to do every single day. Punt the ball here, punt the ball there, kick it here and there. That when I got out, it's like my imagination was just ready to roll, and I just decided to do something totally different than what I was doing. And that was exciting for me because I was pretty much burnt out on what I was doing, and this new adventure was almost a breath of fresh air for me. And I just rolled with it.
It's cool that you say that because one of the things that I'm always talking about with my friends who've been in a similar season of, playing their whole life and we think we're gonna just play forever. Like it's gonna come to an end, but you don't really think about that time when you have to go get a big girl job and do something else. But I feel like something that's missing so much, especially I would look at it through the lens of like people who are playing in college because not as many people get the opportunity to continue to play professionally, but I feel like there needs to be something like an organization or even just coaches being more equipped to prepare their people for when it's over. Because what you just named, I'm like, man, I wish I would have been hanging out with you a little bit more when it came to an end for me because I was just stuck in this moment and I felt really alone in it too. Like I felt like something was wrong with me because I was grieving and sure I had a couple months where I was like, this is awesome. I can do whatever I want, but then I started to really struggle. And I was like, well, how am I supposed to fill my days? Or I'm not moving around as much as I used to. So I don't know. I started to kind of spiral a little bit. So, if you were in that role, and I know you just kind of named it, and I'm putting you on the spot here, but like what would be two or three things that you would want to implement into people that are in college or even high school and their sport's about to come to an end? Like what would some advice be for those kids in that season?
Well, when you let your sport become your identity, that's when you're going to have issues afterwards. And I never really let myself do that. My sport was something I loved to do, and it was my job, but it was not my identity. I enjoyed time with my family, and I enjoyed time experimenting and trying new things, and seeing what was interesting to me. And when I retired, that whole world opened up for me, where I was like, man, I can go learn how to build stuff, and I can go coach if I want to. I mean, there were so many possibilities for me that it was exciting for me. It wasn't a dreadful thing when I retired, because there were so many other things that I wanted to do.
So you said, I could go coach and do all of these things. That's my next question. I feel like a lot of people who are in athletics, the quote unquote easy route, which I'm not putting shame on people that go and do that because I do believe that there's a gift and calling towards it. But I do have a lot of friends that went into coaching simply because they didn't know what else to go do. That
That's
was
what they knew,
comfortable,
right?
right? And so awesome, you are staying in your craft and things that you're gifted at, but what are you doing now? Like what are you outside of the sports world, or I'm trying to tap in here to how do you actually close that door and really move on and totally pick yourself out of that world of athletics to find new purpose?
Well, I think if you go into coaching, there's two ways to look at it. Number one, you can look at it as, this is the only thing I know, so I have to do this. Or it's, I've gained so much wisdom while I was doing it, I'm ready to share it with somebody else. And so that's the
Mm.
two different kind of mentalities that you can use with the coaching thing. And I've kind of taken the approach of the second one. I know more than coaching, but the wisdom and the knowledge that I've gained over 30 plus years of kicking and punting footballs is something that, if I can make somebody else's path to the NFL or to college or to a scholarship a little bit easier, then it's well worth the coaching part of it, because my time might save them years of frustration, or years of trying to gain the knowledge that I already know and can give to them. So I think that's the two different mentalities of coaching. And I was always under the impression that, share your knowledge, share your wisdom with the younger generation, because you never know whose life you're going to impact.
Yeah. So are you doing that now, or what's life for you post NFL? What's
Yeah,
that like
so
for you?
so when I was done, I did two things. I started to learn how to build furniture. I've always wanted to learn how to do that. And like I said before, I was never able to use power tools and all that stuff. And I met a good friend of ours, and we started a business together, where I learned a lot from him. He taught me how to, build tables and do upcycling of furniture, and find old things and make them into cool furniture. And it was cool to me, because my imagination was kind of let loose, and I was able to do fun things like that. And so I did that, and then also I did coaching. I wanted to share my knowledge with the younger generation, and I've since then I don't do a lot of on field stuff, but what I've done is I've actually created an app on how to punt and kick, and it's step by step, goes through everything that I know is that I've learned over 30 plus years of kicking and punting footballs, that the younger generation can just go on an app and just kind of watch and learn that way. And so that was my way to kind of get out what was in my head, but also give someone the opportunity to learn.
That's awesome. And by the way, you guys, you can click down in the show description below. Click the link if you want to download the app. Craig is amazing and he has so much to offer on there. So thank you for bringing that up. But were you ever one? You seem like a pretty chill guy, but did you ever like find yourself comparing yourself to other people? During my time of playing, I wrestled with comparison a lot, and I was my own biggest critic, but I feel like even that, like leaving the world of athletics and not really having that like daily comparison, it freed me in one sense, and then it brought me back to that time of like, man, like I was battling that hard. But I'm just curious, like, did you ever wrestle with that? Because you played at some very high end places.
Well, yes and no. Yes, in the sense that I've always wanted to be the best, and I think you did too. Anybody who goes into college, major college athletics, or the pros, they strive to be the best. It's not just the best that they can be, but the best that there is. And so, of course, for me, I may have a bad not so good year, and I see other guys performing great, and I want to be as good as them. Then there are years where I perform great, and there is no issue. So you have to come to a point where you just have to understand that you're not always going to be the best, uh, but there's times when you just got to be the best that you can be, and I just came to that point where mentally it wears on you when you're trying to always try to compare yourself to somebody who is maybe performing better, because you'll never uh, you'll never be able to accomplish that because of the way you're performing at the time that you're complaining about. It's very, very difficult. The power of the mind is amazing. You continue to try to make yourself as good as somebody else who may be performing better than you. There's always going to be pressure on you, and when you have pressure, bad things happen.
It's just interesting stepping out of that because I feel like a lot of those things, like I know it's the stereotypical people love to hire athletes, people love this because I do feel like we're equipped with a lot and we go through a lot. And so that adversity and we're built different. We're built different.
We are. We
But
are.
what are yeah, some of those things that you feel like playing football at the level that you did for so long translated into this season for you to like really like utilize that and capitalize for this second half of your life outside of athletics?
Yeah. So the things that I learned in football have made me who I am. I mean, it's the discipline that we have to go through, and you in playing college golf, the discipline it takes to even get out there and compete, let alone succeed. I mean, it's a full-time job along with your schooling, and the discipline and the things you have to overcome in order to succeed, and the value of teamwork, and the just all the different things that you learn translates into later life.
So, Craig, you mentioned discipline though, and I want to go back there for a second. One, I definitely have been very disciplined my entire life. You know, my parents never had to discipline me because I disciplined myself, and that was just how I was wired. But with that, I will say I've noticed, I think the level of discipline, I'm still disciplined compared to most people, but the level that it's at, I feel like I'm just not there anymore. And it's kind of weird because I almost like put shame or like I don't know. I just feel guilty for not being at that level now. But yeah, I just want to go back to discipline then and then now and kind of how that's translated for you just beyond playing.
Well, discipline is interesting because I think in my opinion, in order to succeed in college sports or even in professional sports, you can't have somebody trying to make you disciplined. You have to be self-disciplined, and you have to want to get up and do what you're doing. And if you love what you're doing, it's not hard to practice or to spend time doing it. But if you hate what you're doing, it's going to be difficult. So first of all, you got to find something that you love, and if you love it, then you love doing it. So that's kind of the I think that makes it really simple for a lot of people. If you find something you love, it's really not work anymore.
Yeah. So after the fact, when it's maybe not something that people love, right? So I mean, even just the simplicity of waking up and working out and taking care of yourself or just that nature. It's so much easier when you were told to do it and you had a team to do it with. And then now it's like you got to go want that for yourself. And I was disciplined because there was a goal I was working towards. And now if my goal is, oh, you're just doing it to take care of yourself, like, yes, that's beautiful, but also I'm like, I need like a deeper why. Like, why am I training? Like, why do I want to get stronger for this? And so what have you found, post playing in that realm of discipline?
Well, the hardest thing that I've dealt with is the decline of my age. I mean, the older you get, you still think you can perform on those levels when you were in your mid 20s, and you just can't. Like I'd love right now, my mind wants to go out and kick 50-yard field goals all day long, but my
Mhm.
body would not agree with it right now. So I think that's the hardest part for me, is knowing that my mind can still do it and I know what to do, but my body won't do
Mhm.
it. So that's probably been the most difficult transition for me.
Okay, so obviously you want to get out there and continue to kick 50-yard field goals, and you were saying that your body is saying no, but your mind is saying yes. So let's go there. Let's talk about the power of the mind as an athlete during, after. Like, I'm just going to let you run with this one, but let's talk about it.
Well, when I played at Notre Dame, I played for legendary coach Lou Holtz, and he was the king of motivation, and he loved to make it difficult for you because he expected the best out of you. And I'll never forget, there was two quotes that always stick with me that he used to tell me about the mind and about the power of the mind is, and one is, what the mind perceives, the body will achieve. And when you're young like that, if you put good thoughts in your mind and you have positive attitudes, good things are likely to happen. He used to preach that to us all the time. The other one is, as a kicker, he always used to tell me, pressure is a feeling you get when you're not confident in your abilities. So if you think about that on a deeper level, I
Oh,
mean, the goalpost for me doesn't narrow just because the situation in the game, they're the same, but your mind wants to shrink them because of the pressure situation. So if you're confident what you're doing, you've done it thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of times. What's the difference if it's 1 second left on the clock or if it's in practice one day? The goalposts are still the same. So I always kept those two quotes with me my whole career because they're so true.
that's so good because I remember focusing too on like, man, where am I getting my confidence from when I would feel the pressure? And for me, it was my preparation was my main thing, or if I've already done it before, even in a tournament, I'd kind of go there and then be able to be like, I did this all week. Like, what's the
Yeah.
difference right now?
Well, it's
So
amazing watching. It's amazing watching the best golfers in the world, men or women, and all of a sudden they get the yips and they can't make a 3 foot putt. I mean, it's amazing, and that's right there shows you the power of the mind.
and I love that lives beyond athletics and in this new chapter, new season of just figuring out our purpose. Like I think that's the main thing that I want to instill with this, like through this podcast and the people who tune in to watch and listen, just because life's not over when our sport ends. It's actually just beginning, not to be
That's right.
cliche, but there's so much left that we have here on this side of heaven before before our time on earth is like come to an end. It's like, no, there's so much inside of us, and like you named, is using the things that we've learned and we've crafted, and then giving back to others in that realm, or running with new passions and purpose, because I know that we're more than our sport, and that's also something that I've had to learn over the past couple years of being done, is that it's not it. That's not the end goal. So, but Craig, thank you for hopping on here today with me, and definitely always appreciate what you have to say. I wish I would have sat down with you right when my sport came to an end. 'Cause I'm like, man, I needed Craig.
Well, you've done good. We're proud of you.
All right, guys. So, as always, you can click down in the show description for Craig's app. Go ahead and check that out if you're in the realm of kicking. But if not, if you want to connect with us, you can find our Instagram in there as well. But, Craig, thank you so much. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Now Up podcast.